The date is August 15th, 2026. Mason, Ohio. The Lindner Family Tennis Center is still buzzing from the electricity of the match that just ended. Alex Eala, the 21-year-old Filipina sensation, has just done what she came to do. She has avenged her heartbreaking loss to Elena-Gabriela Ruse and advanced to the third round of the Cincinnati Open. The sea of Philippine flags is still waving. The chants of Eala are still echoing through the venue. But now, all eyes are on the tournament director, Bob Moran, the president of Beemok Sports and Entertainment and the man who oversees one of the most prestigious WTA 1000 events in the world, has just stepped up to the microphone. The cameras are rolling. The journalists are on the edge of their seats. And what he is about to say will send shockwaves through the tennis world. He does not just congratulate Eala. He does not just praise her performance. He reveals something that no one expected. Something that leaves everyone stunned. Something that confirms what millions of fans already knew. That Alex Eala is not just a tennis player. She is a phenomenon. And the Cincinnati Open will never be the same again. Face screaming in fear tennis. To understand why Bob Moran's words were so shocking, you must first understand the phenomenon that preceded Eala's victory. When tickets for Eala's second-round match went on sale, the demand was so overwhelming that the tournament's ticketing system crashed at 6 a.m. The phones at the tournament office rang off the hook. The organizers scrambled to find a solution. Bob Moran, who had seen legends like Federer, Nadal, and Serena Williams grace his courts, was left in absolute disbelief. He had never seen anything like this. The Filipino community had turned out in full force. They had traveled from New York, Chicago, California, Toronto, and countless other cities. They had filled the stadium. They had turned the Lindner Family Tennis Center into what felt like a home court for the Filipina star. The Eala effect was real. It was powerful, and it was about to get even bigger. Eala's popularity has grown so much that she is now a major draw wherever she plays. In Toronto, she filled the stadium for 4 evening sessions. Even the game's biggest stars like Coco Gauff and Naomi Osaka have welcomed this as a big development for the women's tour. Gauff said, "I like that Alex brings a whole new demographic to the WTA tour." The match itself was a roller coaster of emotion. Eala, the number 17 seed, faced Elena-Gabriela Ruse of Romania, the woman who had denied her a spot in the 2024 U.S. Open main draw. It was a revenge match. 2 years ago, Ruse defeated Eala 3-6, 6-1, 6-4 in the third qualifying round of the 2024 U.S. Open. At that time, Eala was ranked number 153 while Ruse was number 122. Now, Eala is number 20 in the world, and she was determined to prove how far she had come. The first set was a war. Both players held serve with relative ease. The tension was palpable. The crowd roared after every Eala point. Ruse, visibly frustrated by the noise, struggled to find her rhythm. The set went to a tiebreak. Eala, riding the energy of the crowd, took control. She won the tiebreak 7-5. The stadium exploded. But Ruse was not finished. She regrouped in the second set, breaking Eala's serve early and winning 6-3. The match was level. The tension was unbearable. The third set was a classic. Both players were exhausted. Both were pushing through pain. But neither was willing to give an inch. At 5-4, Eala broke Ruse's serve. She had match point. The stadium held its breath. Eala hit a forehand winner down the line. The crowd erupted. She had done it. She had avenged her loss. The final score, 7-6, 5, 3-6, 6-4. The victory was more than just a win. It was a statement. Eala had proven that she was not the same player who had lost 2 years ago. She had grown. She had improved. She had climbed from number 153 to number 20 in the world. And she had shown the world that she belonged among the elite. Eala has won 10 of her last 12 matches and reached the 4th round at Wimbledon and the Canadian Open either side of her title run at the Washington Open. Greg Ruzetsky, the 1997 U.S. Open finalist, backed Eala to handle the tough draw, calling her the one to look out for in Cincinnati. As the crowd continued to celebrate, Bob Moran stepped up to the microphone. He had been watching the match from the sidelines, taking in the incredible atmosphere. He had seen the sea of Philippine flags. He had heard the deafening chants. He had witnessed the passion of the Filipino community firsthand. And now, he was ready to speak. His first words were not about the match. They were about the phenomenon. I've seen a lot of tennis in my career, Moran said. I've hosted legends like Federer, Nadal, and Serena Williams. But I have never seen anything like what Alex Eala has brought to this tournament. The crowd erupted. The journalists leaned forward. Moran continued. The demand for her matches has been unprecedented. The tickets sold out 2 days before the match was even played. The system crashed. The phones rang off the hook. And the atmosphere in this stadium tonight? It's something I will never forget. But Moran wasn't finished. He revealed something that left everyone stunned. I personally invited Alex Eala to a VIP dinner before the tournament began, he said. I wanted to honor her for what she has done for this sport. She has brought thousands of new fans to tennis. She has inspired millions of people around the world. And she has proven that tennis is truly a global sport. The journalists were in shock. A tournament director had never done anything like this before. Moran was not just praising a player. He was acknowledging a movement. He was recognizing the power of the Eala effect. And he was making a promise. The Cincinnati Open will always welcome Alex Eala. She is the future of this sport. And we are honored to have her here. Moran's words spread like wildfire across social media. The hashtag #MoranPraiseEala trended alongside Ealamania. Fans were overjoyed. They saw Moran's words as a validation of everything they had been saying for months. They flooded social media with messages of support for both Eala and the tournament. Finally, someone recognizes what we've known all along, one fan wrote. Alex Eala is not just a tennis player. She is a global phenomenon. And Bob Moran is a visionary for acknowledging that. Another fan posted, "This is what happens when you let your passion speak for itself. Alex Eala has changed the game, and the Cincinnati Open is better for it." But the reaction wasn't all positive. Some criticized Moran for being overly effusive. They argued that a tournament director should remain neutral, that he shouldn't play favorites. They questioned whether his praise was motivated by ticket sales rather than genuine admiration. "Of course he's praising her," one critic wrote. "She's selling out his stadium. He'd say anything to keep her coming back." Others defended Moran. They pointed out that his words were not just about Eala. They were about the fans. They were about the community. They were about the power of representation. Bob Moran didn't just praise Alex Eala, one supporter wrote. He praised every Filipino fan who traveled thousands of miles to support her. He recognized that they are the ones who made this tournament special. Eala herself remained composed. She acknowledged Moran's words with characteristic grace. "It's an incredible honor," she said. "I'm so grateful to Bob Moran and the entire Cincinnati Open team for their support. But I also know that the real work is on the court. I'm here to compete. I'm here to win. And I'm going to give everything I have to make the most of this opportunity." Moran's words were not just about one player. They were about a changing tennis landscape. They were about a sport that is becoming more global, more diverse, and more passionate. They were about a player who has brought millions of new fans to the sport. Eala is such a major draw that even the tournament organizers had to move her to center court in Toronto because of the ticket demand. Alex Eala represents that change. She represents hope. She represents resilience. She represents the belief that no dream is too big, no obstacle too great, no challenge too difficult to overcome. For decades, the Philippines has been a country that has been overlooked on the world stage. Its people have been told that they are too small, too poor, too insignificant to compete with the giants of the world. But Alex Eala is changing that narrative. She is showing the world that Filipinos can compete on the global stage, that Filipinos can succeed, that Filipinos can be champions. Bob Moran understood that. He understood that Eala is not just a tennis player. She is a movement. And by inviting her to a VIP dinner and publicly praising her, he was acknowledging the power of that movement. He was signaling to the world that the Cincinnati Open recognizes and values the Eala effect. He was making a statement that the future of tennis is global and that the future is here. Eala herself spoke about this connection with her fans. "Because I'm constantly on the road, sometimes I'm quite disconnected from the impact I have in my country, for better or for worse. So when I returned, it really opened my eyes." She said she heard a few phrases from her fans and that it was enough to get a glimpse of their stories, the impact of tennis on their lives, or how being Filipino and the pride they feel has affected them personally. She called it incredible, how inspiration can influence others. Greg Rosetsky, the 1997 U.S. Open finalist, said of Eala, You've got to play great tennis to beat her. And I see her only going one direction, and that's up. The tennis world is watching. The fans are believing. And Alex Eala is just getting started. Eala's victory over Ruse has propelled her into the third round of the Cincinnati Open. Her potential path to the final is brutal. She could face ninth seed Amanda Anisimova in the third round, Wimbledon champion Linda Noskova in the fourth round, and a rematch with Jessica Pegula in the quarterfinals. Beyond that, Elena-Gabriela or Iga Swiatek could be waiting in the semifinals, and Aryna Sabalenka in the final. But Eala has already proven that she can beat the best. She defeated Pegula in Washington. She conquered Swiatek at Wimbledon. She's 10 of her last 12 matches. She's not afraid of anyone, and she's not going to back down. Greg Rosetsky backed Eala to handle the situation, calling her the one to look out for in Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Open is Eala's final tournament before the U.S. Open. The stakes are high. The competition is fierce. But Eala is ready. She has the momentum. She has the confidence. She has the support of a nation behind her. And she has proven that she can handle anything that comes her way, on and off the court. Eala herself set a clear goal for the tournament. She said she focuses on the level of her game. Of course, the more matches the better, right? But it's the matches that really matter. Did I manage to do what I wanted? Did I show the level I wanted to show? Bob Moran's shocking words after Eala's victory were more than just a compliment. They were a recognition of something bigger. They were a recognition that tennis is changing. They were a recognition that the sport is becoming more global, more diverse, and more inclusive. They were a recognition that players from countries that have never had tennis stars before are finally getting the recognition they deserve. Alex Eala represents that change. She represents hope. She represents resilience. She represents the belief that no dream is too big, no obstacle too great, no challenge too difficult to overcome. She has inspired millions of Filipinos around the world. She has shown that dreams can come true. And now, she has earned the recognition of one of the most powerful figures in tennis. Eala's journey from the cracked courts of Quezon City to the sold-out stadiums of Toronto and Cincinnati. From the cover of Forbes to the bright lights of the U.S. Open. Her journey has defied every expectation. And now, she is proving that true champions are not defined by the trophies they win, but by the hearts they touch. She said, "I know that I wouldn't live these experiences if I hadn't done all the previous work. And so I know that I won't be able to live them again if I don't continue that work. This is not the end. This is only the beginning."